Hey there, YouTube. It's me, Broken Terrain, and I'm coming to you with a different type of video today. You see, I got hooked on painting minis. This is my first one, and I'm going to share it with you right after the drop. Well, YouTube, I'm no mini painting expert. Like I said, this is just my first one. And so I'm just going to share with you my general experience and the basic processes that I followed. If you want to learn how to paint minis, there's tons of videos out there and tons of creators who have been doing it so much longer than I have. I recommend you find those people and take their advice. To start, I picked a rather simple mini. She didn't have a ton of detail, but she still had a really cool pose and look. And I think that's important, to be excited about the mini you want to paint. I thought I had taken some footage of getting her primed outside, but I seem to have lost that footage. So I'll just explain to you. I stuck her to a piece of cardboard with some poster tack and gave her a nice even coat of black primer. I then tried to do what is called zenithal highlighting by spraying a bit of white primer where sunlight might be hitting her. I don't know if I was effective in my application or not, but I tried to paint like the big boys. Once you have her primed, it's time to put in your base colors. I went with a peach for skin color, and I chose a shamrock green for her dress. For hair color, I went with a red. I thought she'd look really cool as a redhead. This was an interesting change of pace for painting. Normally I am slopping on colors in large amount for terrain. In this particular instance, I was going in with a fine tip brush and hitting very controlled areas with color. It was a fun change of pace, and I enjoyed it. This particular mini has some bangles, a tiara of sorts, and a belt that I wanted to do in a pretty gold color. I really had to pay attention to where that paint was going on, and really had to pay attention to where I put my brush. But I found it very enjoyable. Normally, I use my homemade washes for terrain, but I took the advice of many a mini painter, and I purchased a small bottle of Citadel Rec Shade Flesh Tone, I believe it's called. I'm told these washes are high quality and much better for mini use than a homemade terrain wash. And I would agree. I got incredible results from the Citadel wash. And I believe if you're gonna try mini painting, that you should pick up at least a wash, a professional wash. I made do with apple barrel paints for the base colors, but for your wash, spend that extra dollar or two and get yourself a nice product. It's gonna pay off. I am now a fan of Citadel washes. Much like terrain painting, once the wash is dried, you go back in with some highlights. I highlighted her shamrock green dress with some light green highlights. I went in with her red hair and highlighted with some orange mixed with white. And I really liked the effect. I tried to highlight the skin and didn't fare so well. Kept going back to the wash and highlights, wash and highlights. Ultimately, her skin tone turned out a little darker than I had anticipated. I was super happy and kept in mind the whole time that this was my first mini. I had already been very intimidated seeing some of the high quality minis out there. And I want to tell you, YouTube, if you're thinking about starting painting minis, don't be too intimidated. Just get to work. And I moved on to my basing. I saw a great little technique online of torn corkboard to represent stone, and I was thrilled to give this a shot. YouTube, you've seen my techniques all before. I coat the remaining in white PVA glue and flock with craft sand. Once the glue dries, I'll hit everything with the Black Magic base coat to lock those granules into place and seal up the piece of cork. This will also give me a good black base coat to start from. I decided not to reinvent the wheel with this base. Mississippi mud for ground, granite or elephant gray for the stonework, and then I'll dry brush with a honey brown and a granite gray respectively. The base was a bit more in my comfort zone, it being terrain-esque. And I enjoyed this portion of the mini painting as well. At this point, I was absolutely loving this corkboard technique, and keep an eye out for some interesting terrain ideas using cork. I absolutely loved the look I was getting, all that texture just automatically built in. Fantastic. Then once again, I turned to Citadel Wash, this time a Nun oil, which is basically their black, and super pumped. Citadel, you've got a fan. You make great washes, and I look forward to using more professional paints for mini painting in the future. Then it was time to go back in with a vanilla ice cream and just highlight all those edges and textures. Boy, that corkboard really pops. How I did not know about this until now, I just don't know. It's time to flock the dirt areas. So some white PVA glue. I'll brush that on, and then I'll use my Woodland Scenics green flocking material to make it look like a rock on the edge of grass. I'm going to take this point in time in the video to thank you for watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to make a comment, please feel free to do so. If you liked the mini video, I'd love to hear from you. If you didn't like the mini video and you want me to stick to terrain, well, say that too. You might be out of luck because, like I said, I'm kind of addicted to minis now. But I'll know to focus more on terrain if that's what you want. And as always, please hit subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel and I need your help. Thank you so much. Remember to go back in with a watered down white PVA glue to lock that flocking in place. And then the figurine had a little upturn of the skirt, so I painted that black to make sure you didn't see any of the bare metal of the miniature. And then I'm just going to go around on the base and carefully coat the edge of our fender washer in black, because I want my first mini to look as clean and as professional as possible. Then it's time to glue her to the base. A little Loctite super glue, and I got a new product in, a super glue accelerant. I'll spray that on the base, and when the two meet, the glue adheres almost instantly. It's magical. Get it? Because it's a wizard figurine? Magical? Yes, that's right. A wizard figurine for Frostgrave. Can't wait. Then I hit her with a clear coat, and we can check her all out in her magical splendor. YouTube, I loved it. I loved painting this mini. I think I'm hooked. I was a little intimidated seeing all the beautiful pictures of everyone's wonderful minis out there online, and I want to say I was intimidated for nothing. It's very easy to get into. You watch a few videos, follow their guides, your mini will turn out really good with minimal effort. It helps having a great shading paint. It really is talent in a bottle. This concludes this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the channel, please hit the subscribe button and maybe check out some of my other videos. Thank you so much. Like each other, love each other, and craft on.